Alright, I'm gonna make sure my audio's on. In this tutorial, I got recommended um, from XX. Um, you know, I guess something that reinforces the concept of the Flexbox. So just kind of, I can still kind of read it. He said, saw your Flexbox video and thought another resource that might be useful. Once you get through the free code camp module on Flexbox, there's a game called Flexbox Froggy, which is very helpful in solidifying those Flexbox concepts. It can get pretty challenging too. Flexbox is something you probably want to get good at, as it's extremely useful for positioning elements on the screen. Just wanted to pass it along as another resource. Yeah, definitely. I'm just gonna dive in, and I'm gonna share the link. In the description and in the comment section. So people can go to it. But let's just kind of go through this as I'm seeing this for the first time. All right, so welcome to Flexbox Froggy, a game where you help Froggy and friends by writing CSS code. Guide this frog to the lily pad on the right by using the justify content property, which aligns items horizontally and accepts the following values. Okay, so let's start. Items align to the left side of the container. Okay, left end aligns them to the right. Center. Item items align at the center of the container. Space between. Um, I think I remember that. Items display with equal spacing between them and space around. Items display with equal spacing around them. For example, justify content flex end will move the frog to the right. Okay. Um, so I think all it's really asking here is for to type this in, justify content, and I'll just say flex end. So it looks like that made the frog go from here to there. I'm gonna hit next. So it looks like that worked. Use justify content again to help these frogs get to their lily pads. Remember that the CSS property aligns items horizontally and accepts the following values. Um, yeah, I just want to make sure that audio is working. I had my headphones plugged in. I'm not sure if that may have created an issue, but so use it again. So justify content. So use justify content again to help these frogs get to their lily pads. So I would imagine it just kind of looks like it needs to be centered. Okay, so I think I know what they're saying. I think it just needs to be centered because if it's centered, um, then it'll be it'll work. If I were to put it at the start, it would already be aligned to the left, which it's already. If you look at the frogs, they're already aligned to the left. If you put it to the right, it would be like over here, right? Space between items display with equal spacing between them. I'm not sure if that's it. Space around items display with equal spacing around them. I don't think that's it. I'm gonna go with center. So it looks like it's a match. It's in. Help all three frogs find their lily pads by using justify content this time. The lily pads have lots of space all around them. Okay. Um, So hold on, I'm just gonna type in justify content. Help all three find the lily pads by just using justify content. This time the lily pads have lots of space all around them. Okay, so I think here it looks like I would kind of need space in between them. That's what I think it's telling me here. Because if I were to make it so that they have space between them, that'll kind of be more in line with what we're seeing in those lily pads. So that's what I'm gonna go with. And I guess it's challenging me by not telling me the code. All right, now. Oh, okay. So let's say flex start. Okay, so I don't think space between works, so alright, I guess we're just gonna find out space around. Alright, looks like space around worked. Alright, now the lily pads on the edges have drifted to the shore, increasing the space between them. So the lily pads have now more space. Okay, so I think it's kind of giving it away here. And I guess I probably gave it away before, but I didn't think to look. Use the justify content. This time the lily pads have equal spacing between them. All right, so I'm actually gonna go with space between. All right. Now use align items to help the frogs get to the bottom of the pond. Okay. So, this CSS property aligns items. So, okay, so instead of justify items, align items. So before I think justify items align them horizontally, where this aligns it vertically. So I would imagine it would be flex end, because these lily pads are to the end. There we go. Well, the end vertically, not horizontally. Lead the frog. Okay, so lead the frog to the center of the pond using a combination of justify content and align items. All right, that's interesting. All right, so justify content. Center. I would just imagine center. Let me go with center. All right, so it looks like we're close. Now align items. And I think it's just center too, right? I mean, is it just center? I think I kind of want to have a space in between. I just want to have a space in between here. Alright, looks like it did it. The frog needs to cross the pond again. This time, some lily pads with plenty of space around them. Okay, so if you notice the frogs don't have space in between them, or around them. Use a combination of justify content and align items. Okay, so I would imagine vertically wise, that's a word, I would just make it flex end. So we'll start with that. And then for justify content, space around. And what is space around again? Space around. Alright, I'll kind of admit I'm kind of confused between space evenly and space around, or space in between and space around. But I'm just gonna explain I'm just gonna be upfront about everything, and then, when it matters, All right. The frogs need to get in the same order as their lily pads using flex direction. Okay, the frogs need to get in the same order using flex direction. The CSS property defines the direction items are placed in their container and accepts the following values. Okay, so if you notice, we have a green frog, a yellow frog. It's like ordered green, yellow, and red. But the lily pads is red, yellow, and green. So basically, it's not going to just be positioning them into the lily pads anymore. It's now you have to put them in the right order and position them. Okay? So, let's make an attempt here. So, alright, so this is red, yellow, green, and I guess the reverse of that is red, yellow, green, so it looks like it's just in reverse. So flex direction, I get kind of confused about columns and rows. I'm going to say row reverse. Looks like that is correct. I guess then it also positioned it. Alright, so I mean, it's new stuff, so. Help the frogs find their column of lily pads using flex direction. The CSS property defines the direction items are placed in the container. Alright, and accepts the following values. Okay, so I'd imagine, alright, green, yellow, red, green, yellow, red. I would just say column, because it's not in reverse, but it's just kind of making it a column. Alright, looks like we got it. Help the frogs get to their own lily pads. Although they seem close, it will take both flex direction, okay, and justify content to get them there. All right. So what are we noticing so far? So, red, yellow, green, and looks like it's kind of reversed basically, but it's reversed on the other side. So first thing I want to do is kind of get it in the right order. And reverse the row. Is that, or is it row reverse? Oh, it's row reverse. It's not reverse row. Alright, so now it's kind of in the right order. Now justify content. So that kind of has to do with horizontally positioning it. I guess flex start, right? Because right now it's kind of at the end, and we got to get to the start because that's where the lily pads are. So flex start. It's flex start, right? Yeah. So all right, it didn't do anything. So it's not flex start. I don't see how it's not flex start. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of puzzled here. Because it's, I mean, because it's supposed to do something. It's supposed to bring this to the start, and it's kind of not doing anything. I'm not sure why. Justify dash content. And then flex start. I don't know. Will flex end work, or I don't. I just kind of don't know why it's not doing anything. So flex end. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of confusing because I thought that flex end was. I thought that flex end was to the right. And flex start would be to the left because when you read it's from left to right, but flex end made it go to the left, not where it starts. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean that was kind of confusing. Help the frogs find their lily pads using flex direction and justify content. Alright, so let's see. So it looks like the order's fine. So as far as flex direction, I guess I'm just gonna make it a column. And align items. I would kind of imagine that. I mean, I would imagine it to be flex end, but that kind of threw me off about the order. I would imagine it would be flex end, not the opposite. Oh, okay, hold on. Or is that justified content? Well, area to me looks like it best. Looks like we're halfway there. Hope the frogs find the lily pads using flex direction and justified content. Alright, so it's green, yellow, red. So I'd imagine we need to, I guess, make it reverse column. Column, reverse. Oh, okay, alright. So I think that's a start, because we kind of have a resemblance to the order. And now justify content. Now it's in justify content. I think we need a lot of space in between, I would imagine, or space around. Let's try space around. Nope, not quite. Space. In between, space between. I'll try space between. Alright, so I think that did it. Hope the frogs find their lily pads using flex direction, justify content, and align items. Alright, so it's trying to hammer home. They're trying to hammer home the concepts. So hope the frogs find the lily pads. Hope the frogs find the lily pads using flex direction. Okay. So one, it kind of just looks like they're in the opposite order. So say flex direction, just row reverse, just as a start. Then justify content. I would imagine that should just be center. And then align items. I would imagine that would be flex end. I'm just going by memory. Alright. Alright. That's that went all by memory. Wow. Alright. There we go. So sometimes reversing the row and column order of a container is not enough. So I think we see this is going. In these cases, we can apply the order property to individual items. By default, items have a value of 0, but we can use this property to also set it to a positive or a negative integer value. So, that's an array. So use the order property to reorder the frogs according to their lily pads. Alright, so okay, order kind of just say 0, 1, and 2. or 1. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this is tough for me conceptually. Okay, what happens when we do -1, 2, and then 1? I think, do I just say integer value? Oh, integer. Okay, I'm just gonna type exactly what they have and just see what that'll do. Go -1, -1, 0, 1. -1, 0, 1. It's not doing anything. Should I try this? Two, 1, 0? Or 0? I don't know. What if I just make it 0? I don't know. What if I make it a single digit? 0, 1. Alright, that did something. Hold on. 0? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It says dot yellow. And I made it 0. So I put dot yellow into 1. So if I... And then it moved it back 1. So I moved the yellow to -1. So if I make it 1, that did it. So I just needed to move the yellow to 1. Okay. I mean, and then I guess that would... Alright, so I guess then it pertains to this yellow class, and then it's going to have a red class and a green class, and then I'm basically shifting it. Alright, so you saw where I struggled. Alright, so now we're at red. So I guess I need to move it 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna say -3. I'm gonna order it -3. Is that right? Looks like it is. Yellow, where am I gonna move that? Alright, so another property you can apply to individual items is align self. This property accepts the same values as align items and its value for the specific item. Okay, so I would just kind of say align items would be, or align self would be flex end, it looks like.